till you're done. Just turn 19, you've had your fun. So much in this world that looks like me or the her I'm now meant to be. Bye, everyone's got one. I'm so excited, I'm gonna look so dumb. And I could learn to walk and talk like you, or I could learn to try something brand new.
I've been given the opportunity to speak about a project that I got involved in and spearheaded to, well, as my way of helping. The organization that I work for is called SevaUnite, and what we try to do is inspire people to get involved in doing some kind of selfless service based on whatever it is that you feel you want to do. And the reason that we do this is we are trying to get people to see selfless service not only as something where I'm going out and doing good, but as a means to transform myself. I don't know if any of you, I'm sure you've all tried and you've gone out and you've helped, and you see the beautiful synergy that happens with helping others is that you help yourself. You feel good by helping someone else, and there's a process involved in that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do, and I really love this project. This is really... My Wednesday mornings is one of the most rewarding and most purposeful times of my week. I can be in the most horrendous states of mind, and I go in there, and I feel so good. So let me tell you what we do. We rock up at Pollsmoor Maximum Prison on a Wednesday morning, me and another teacher. We pull the car into the gate there, the booms, there's the security, there are wardens everywhere, and this is what happens. The guard at the gate does this, pushes the button, the boom comes up, and in we go, and they're just screaming, yoga guys, come in, come in. We've never been searched. We could pretty much take anything we wanted in there, but I'm not encouraging that, and we certainly don't. So the first port of call, because we teach 3 classes there on a Wednesday morning, the first port of call is the admission center. And then we go to the male juvenile section and then the pre-release section. But I'm going to talk about the admission center because there's not enough time to talk about everything, as much as I'd love to. The admission center at Pollsmoor Prison is a center where guys come when they've committed crime, and they are arrested, and they get taken to this place, which is kind of like the place that they wait until they are charged or sentenced or given off. So they're not sentenced guys, they just go there, and there are currently 7,000 to 8,000 of them in this little building, which was built for 4,000 many, many years ago. And it's overcrowded, obviously. The inmates, because of the short staff situation in the department, are locked up 22 to 23 hours a day, overcrowded cells, and amongst fellow criminals. So you can imagine, in terms of rehabilitating someone or even giving them a chance, I might mention that there's only one social worker in this whole place for 7,000 inmates. There's very little chance of any kind of rehabilitation going on. They're kind of sitting locked up, cooped up in a situation where their bodies are getting stiff and sore, uncomfortable. You can imagine when you're not feeling good in your body what that does to your mind, which is already having its own difficulty. And this is why we have situations where 63% of the guys released from prison reoffend within 24 hours. 80% of them are back in jail within 2 months. So these figures are crazy. Prisons aren't working. It's clearly not. So this is where I get really, really excited about yoga, because it's been proven to have incredible potential in the rehabilitation of an inmate. And studies have shown that it also reduces reincarceration rate. Guys that start to practice yoga while they're in there, it starts to really wake them up to something in themselves. And I know that feeling because it woke me up. I've been doing yoga for 14 years. So I'm kind of very passionate about that. So in that mission center, we walk into, get led through, and we walk into our class. And the class can be anything between 10 and 35 prisoners, or inmates, let's call them. And we're greeted with a lot of attitude. You know, the guys are rough. A lot of them haven't done yoga ever before. These guys, obviously not really exposed to it. And there's all the attitude, and there's all the sort of toughness that you'd expect, because they've got to keep a certain toughness about them, because weakness in the prison gets picked on, and et cetera, et cetera. You don't ever want to end up in there. Don't do crime. But that's a side message. So anyway, we start our yoga class with these guys, and we teach them postures, yoga postures, so simple exercises that move the body, stretch the body, and begin to just wake up the body a bit, begin to work out the tightness and the stiffness in the back. So the body begins to feel better, and it starts to improve in terms of how it's functioning. The minute that happens, already there's a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of let go of tension in the body. That starts to affect the mind. It starts to affect the feelings and the emotions. We also teach a little bit of breathing practices. Breathing practices, the most simple thing to really relax the mind, to calm and balance the body. Simple stuff. Watch your breath going in and out, in and out. Do it for 10 minutes. You'll be in a completely different state of mind. Then we teach them a little bit of meditation, something that helps them go in and look at what is going on inside this incredibly mysterious being, which is a human. And obviously, they get a lot of deep insight in that. They start to see their negativity. They start to see their emotions, their anger. They start to see and contemplate the things that they've done and the actions and the repercussions of their actions. And we always end with a relaxation practice, which leaves more than half the class asleep by the end. The guys' faces have visibly softened. Their attitude in the room is completely different. It becomes very, very peaceful, very, very calm. And then my favorite part, chatting to the guys afterwards, because they come in, they share the most beautiful stories with me, and this to me makes it really, really worthwhile, because I'm there largely for myself to connect, to learn how to connect to another human being, beyond the role of I am a yoga teacher, or I am a privileged person and you are a criminal, or my yoga student, or someone that I am the helper and you need my help. Move beyond those roles completely. I'm a human being, you're a human being, let's meet. And where we meet there, when you open yourself up to that potential, where you go beyond the roles, magic and really amazing stuff comes out. And the guys share really, really incredible stuff with me. One inmate that I write to quite regularly, called John, he writes to me in his letters, and sometimes I'm having a really horrendous day, and I read one of his letters, and already I'm uplifted by the inspiration of him getting off on his yoga practice. So we hand out, at the end of this class, we hand out manuals, yoga manuals. We try to keep the practices very, very simple, because you don't need a lot of space to do yoga. It's not weird or esoteric. It's very practical, very scientifically proven stuff. Simple techniques. So we give them a manual filled with these little things that they can do in an area the size of this little carpet. It's a prayer carpet. And that can make radical transformation to how they feel and the time that they're using inside the prison. And a lot of these guys are sentenced off to Malmesbury Prison, to Brunfley Max, Helderstrom, Aliwal North, and the guys continue their practice from this manual. They write to us, we write back to them, we inspire them, they inspire us. They start their own groups. Then suddenly other guys are writing to us, please can I also have one of those manuals? I want to practice. So we have a Rastafarian group of brothers in Aliwal North start a yoga group. They meet on their Sabbath, and before they do their prayers, they sit down, they do a couple of stretches, a bit of breathing, meditate, and then they do their Rasta prayers. At Brunfley North, we had a warden phone us and say, what are you teaching these guys? Something's changed. And I was like, really? What's going on there? Because I was aware of one or two guys who were writing to me. These guys get up in their cell at 4 o'clock every morning to do 2 hours of yoga practice, 10 of them. So they started their own yoga group, and this is how the project is beginning to spread from Pollsmoor out, which we're very, very excited about, because we know that the yoga works. And this was our contribution in terms of how I felt I could help. It was my skill base, what I had an affinity towards. But what I want to talk a little bit more about just in my last 2 or 3 minutes here is how can you help? Because you don't have to be a yoga teacher, and you don't have to do something as crazy maybe as going to Pollsmoor Prison and teaching yoga to prisoners. The trick with this game is to find what you feel inside you is something that needs to happen in this world. And if you feel that that's coming from in you, it's probably what you need to do or need to look at doing. And so you've got to ask yourself the question, how can I help? And then let the answer unfold. Don't try to find the answer. Don't ask people. Feel it inside yourself, because the path of service as a path to getting to know yourself is a path that will take you through lots of different challenges and lots of different experiences as you begin to push out and go, maybe it's that, maybe it's that, maybe it's that. But what you're doing is you're empowering yourself because you're motivating yourself and looking for the answers within. And what you'll discover there is you've got this incredible intelligence within your own body, within your own heart, that's guiding you. And that is one thing, it's called our intuition. If you can learn to trust and listen to that little voice inside you and follow that, and you've heard it through all the other talks this morning because the message is the same. If you follow that, you might not always get what you want in life, but you'll get what you need. And what you need will be the thing that helps you grow and expand and to discover beyond becoming something, beyond being a school learner or then I'm going to university to study this, this, and this, and beyond these roles and these labels, we miss the biggest gift, and that is the fact that we are human beings. And for some reason, and I still don't understand why, we're not educated that way, in this hard education of what does it actually mean to be human? To be a human being, as I've sort of discovered, the more I discover, the less I actually know about what it is to be a human being, but it's becoming a greater and greater mystery. And that mystery is exciting, and exploring that mystery of being a human really is a path that will bring you to a place where you will discover freedom, which is to say that it doesn't matter what your circumstances are in life, where you are in life, whether you're behind bars or whether you're out here, you will be free to be a human being. And that's really something worth exploring. So just to end, a very quick start practice, if you want to explore the path of service in terms of exploring what it is to be me, spend this week, one day a week, go through your family members, and without telling them that you're doing that, find one thing that you can do to help someone else have a better day, something that you can help your dad have a better day, your mom, your sister, and reflect at the end of the week, how do you feel about that? What has it actually made you feel like, and what have you learned through that? And then see, well, if that's taught you something, just begin to extend your family. Thank you very much.